Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you can't tell, I am super excited today. I've got a brand new product here from Foxeer, the Falkor 2 Micro. And I can't wait to get this thing open and tear into it. In fact, I haven't even opened this box yet. Can you see that? It still has the seal on it. We're gonna open this together. I'm so excited about this camera because after trying the original Falkor, I quickly fell in love with it and it became one of my go-to cameras. And I can only imagine that version 2 is gonna be even better. Unfortunately, to date, I have not been able to try one of the Micro Falkors, but that's about all to change. So what do you say? We jump on over to the overhead and see what's inside the box. As I said, factory sealed. Opening this baby up for the first time together. Looks like we have a set of instructions. Pretty standard, I guess. It appears as if they're sharing this instruction sheet between the Falkor Mini and both the Micro. I mean, makes sense, right? Because typically it's going to be the same sensor. And now, the good stuff. I'm sure we've got some accessories hiding away in here. Remote, so we can configure the camera. I don't think I'm going to be using this. I have a trick up my sleeve. One thing that I am a fan of with the Falkor cameras is they do give you a couple different wire harnesses. It is designed to really be a plug-and-play configuration, but I'm going to terminate myself, cut the wires, make my own connections, and then I'll just have some extra silicone wire hanging around, so that's still cool too, right? All right, we don't need none of that. Bracket, handful of screws, and look at this. Remember we were talking about connectors the other day? Looks like this camera gives us a spare. That's nice. Save that. You might need it later. Okay. Let's get this camera out of the box. Well, definitely out of the gate. I mean, it's exactly what I would expect for a micro camera. Everything looks nicely constructed, which is what I would expect from Foxeer. Not really much going on. I mean, pretty basic, right? Our connector looks pretty standard. We have VCC in. What's actually nice about this camera is it supports a 5 through 40 volt input. That range is huge. And by having such a large voltage input range, it allows us to save that precious 5 volt regulator and use it for other things like maybe LEDs, standard ground, video out, OSD. This is our camera control wire, and we're going to use this down the road. I have a trick up my sleeve with a flight controller with a pin that'll accommodate this, so we're actually going to connect this. And then the last one is vSense in. This is a connection I'm not going to be using. You would utilize this if you were planning on using the voltage inside the built-in OSD, but let's face it, Betaflight's OSD is way better than what this offers, even if you only want battery voltage, so that's what I'm going to go for. I guess as far as cameras go, its general appearance and installation is pretty much everything I would expect from any other camera that's on the market. However, where this one should shine is going to be in its performance, and I can't wait to check that out. Unfortunately though, today, it's rainy and it's pretty miserable out. I don't know if you can tell how dark it is, so I'm not going to be able to fly right now. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the Falkor installed into its new build, and this is something we're going to talk a little bit more about down the road, so make sure you hang around for this. But I'm going to get the camera installed, I'm going to climb in my time machine, and I'm going to go a couple of days into the future. Once I get there, we'll check out maybe a little bit of DVR flight footage, and we'll go over the configuration in the camera. See you in a couple days. Oh my God, it is so cold in the future. What day is it? It's Saturday. Well, we made it. Let's finish our video. I'll tell you, I'll never get used to this time travel thing. Well, here we are. It's a couple days later now, and I've got the camera installed. It's in its home. I'm not going to tell you about this quad right now. All I'm going to say is I'm calling it the Flying GoPro. You're definitely going to see more of this in the future. I freaking love this quad, and it is awesome. This one's a winner. But so anyway, we're here to talk about the Falkor Micro 2 camera. I think I'm going to fire this guy up. We're going to jump into the menu, we're going to take a look at the settings, and then let's do a little bit of flight footage, because I know you guys want to see what that camera looks like, right? With the quad fired up, you can see that initial impression is that the image quality in this camera is just absolutely fantastic. It's exactly what I would expect from a Falkor. Everything just looks great out of the box. For the most part, this is the factory default settings, other than the fact that I did reduce the sharpness. For some reason, it always seems like the sharpness is overdriven in a lot of these cameras, and I literally turn it down as far as I can. I don't like that pixelization and straight lines. It's just really distracting for me, but we'll look at that setting when we get into the camera. I did make some initial changes here so I could do my test flight. Remember when we talked about that OSD wire? Well, I'm going to tell you why it's important to hook it up to your flight controller. Some modern flight controllers come with a pad that's called camera control, and this is where this is super valuable. If you go mid-throttle, yaw right, and roll right, you'll open the menu system up for the camera. And of course, I bumped the controls a couple times here by accident, so let's get back to the beginning. Something that's worth noting is you do need to leave your throttle at that 50% value in order for the menu system to work correctly. So if you're inputting commands on your right stick and the menu isn't moving up or down, just make sure you're at mid-throttle. Also, a lot of these commands can be quite deliberate, so move that stick for about a second before you expect the menu item to move. I guess just jump into our first item here. In order to hit that enter, I'm going to yaw right. So here, under our exposure, we have brightness, exposure mode, and then some advanced settings. I guess let's see what's under advanced here. Not too much. Shutter control, we can set it manual. Oh, that's kind of nice. Looks like we can fix the shutter speed. That could be handy in certain light conditions. Maybe if you're trying to get a little bit more light in the camera to see in low light areas. Grain control, I mean, I don't think we really need to get in any of this stuff right now. Let's just really see what's in here for the most part. Let's return back. We'll get out of here. Next menu item, we're in white balance. As you can see, we can actually change from an automatic mode to something that's a little bit more manual. Day-night settings, I don't really need to go into there. That's whether or not the camera is going to color correct for dark or light image enhance. This is where our sharpness value is. This is what I was telling you about. I like to set this to manual and roll it all the way back to 1. I think setting it at 0 is just a little bit too low, and I think 1 is a little bit too high, so I kind of just compromise and leave it here at 1. I leave the color, gain, auto, pretty much everything else at auto in here. Video settings, this is where you're going to change between NTSC or PAL, your different HD formats. Special settings, we have our video scale, whether it's 4:3 or 16:9. Right here, these are your OSD items. If it says open, that OSD item is on. If it's closed, that OSD item is off. So the example is if I want the camera to display me voltage, I would just simply set this to open and it'll show the camera voltage. I don't have that stuff hooked up because I'm relying on the OSD inside of Betaflight. So for now, I'm just going to leave all this off. One other option is we do have different image styles in here, and because it's a bright sunny day, I'm just going to leave this set at sunny. We have language. I don't think I really need to go in there. If you speak anything other than English, you're probably going to change this. We have reset. Maybe you messed up something in the camera and you just want to go back to the beginning. Maybe you're playing around with your settings and it's all out of whack. Just do the old reset. And our last here is save and exit. You're all done and you're happy. Just take that left stick and mid-throttle yaw right, save and exit. Well, I think we're done with settings. Let's get out of here. Falkor 2 looks pretty awesome, doesn't it? I think my only real complaint is the fact that there's quite a bit exposed on the circuit board behind the lens. That's pretty typical for these small cameras. I'm not a fan. I think I'm definitely going to pull it out of here and give it some conformal coating to try to protect it a little bit. But overall, my concern is you get a stick poked in there. Next thing you know, you've lost a capacitor and your video isn't working. But with the way the industry's going, I think that's just something we're going to have to deal with. Otherwise, I am absolutely in love with this guy, and I think it is very quickly going to become my go-to micro camera, just as the original Falkor became my go-to full-size camera. I want to say thank you to Banggood for sending me out the Foxeer Falkor Micro 2 camera for review. Also guys, check out HotDog FPV. They're keeping me super warm and cozy on this freezing cold day today. But that's it. That's all I got. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.